to pay people. You need to build roads. Si wewe utakuwa mjinga kufuata hiyo watu. You know, there was a story in my community. I don't know whether it is here among the Griamas and the other people from here. The hare is a very cunning small animal. Very cunning. Mjanja sana. Akadanganya fisi. Amwambia fisi, sasa wewe, hii mabibi zetu wameleta kichwa. Na sasa ndio tuwalainishe leo. Tuende tuwanyoroshe kabisa ndio waingie laini waache ujeuri. Sasa fisi unajua ni mjinga, akaifikiria ile maneno ni ya ukweli. Yeye akaenda akatafuta kiboko ile kali. Sasa yule sungura akiwa pande ile akatafuta drum, ile drama. Yeye anapiga pap. Alafu mwenyewe analia ngwe. Na ni yeye. Sasa fisi akiwa pande ile anafikiria sungura anapiga nani? Bibi. Na yeye akaanza kupiga bibi yake akamuua. Sasa nyinyi magavana mkiambiwa mpinge finance bill na ile mtu na hana kazi ya kufanya, kazi yake ni kupiga kelele, na wewe uko na wafanyikazi wanakungojea, uko na barabara zinataka zijengwe, mahospitali inataka dawa, wewe utakuwa ni mjinga kufuata mtu ambaye he has no responsibility? Utakuwa wewe ni kama ile fisi umendanganywa na sungura. Kwa hivyo I really want to in a very special way appreciate our governors, our 6 governors in this region for their leadership and for being realistic and knowing that elections are over. They have county governments to run. They work with the national government because we serve the same people for the benefit of the people, not just of this region, but the people of Kenya. So sisi tumeshukuru watu ya Pwani. I was here earlier this week. Tarudi tena na tena na tena. Pia tukifanya kazi tunaendelea kutafuta urafiki. So hii maneno ya urafiki ni mambo ya maana. Tunakaa na nyinyi tu namna hii. Sababu hapo mbeleni mlikuwa saa nyingine mnapotea mnafuata ile mzee, lakini amekwama. Amejaribu mara 5. Miaka ndio hiyo imesonga. Sasa nyinyi pia muangalie vile Kenya naenda, muone vile mtajipanga. Sisi tuko tayari kujipanga na nyinyi mkitukubali. Hata msitokubali hakuna shida, tutajipanga na wengine na tutafaulu. There's no problem. So, but it is our wish that we work together because it's the right thing to do and you are good people. So, and by we'll be here again and again. Tukitafuta urafiki wa watu ya Kilifi, tukitafuta urafiki wa watu ya Pwani. Mimi na rais tunawapenda na tunataka tufanye kazi na nyinyi na tutaendelea kuja hapa. Mambo ya bandari tumesuluhisha, inaendelea mzuri. Mambo ya bahari tumepanga mzuri. Waziri Mvuri anafanya kazi. There is a lot of interventions in the blue economy, and the economy of this region is moving well under President William Ruto and our government. We want nyinyi pia mrudishe mkono hapo mbeleni, tutembee pamoja so that we can develop this area, we can develop this region as we develop the whole country. So mimi nimeshukuru sana, sitaki kusidisha kupita hapo. Natakia nyinyi mema, and may this conference be the start of the real transformation of the ASAL areas and the transformation of the Republic of Kenya. May God bless you and bless you abundantly. Asanteni sana.
Mheshimiwa Naibu Rais, ningependa kwa ruhusa yako kukusihi kubakia hapo tuchezewe wimbo wa taifa.
Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you. The Cabinet Secretary, East African Community, the ASALs and Regional Development, Rebecca Miano, the Principal Secretary is present, our host governor, my friends, Gideon Mungaro, Your Excellencies, governors present from Garissa and Baringo, the chairperson, KIPPRA Board of Management, Dr. Ateng, the executive director, KIPPRA board members, the academia, distinguished participants, and resource persons, good afternoon. In Executive Order Number 1 of 2023, President William Ruto assigned me, among other functions, the role of coordinating and supervising implementation of development partners-funded programs and projects. This assignment came when the country was deep into prolonged crisis, in which more than 4 million Kenyans in at least 31 counties were facing starvation, mostly in arid and semi-arid lands. We also lost 2.5 million livestock and wildlife herds. The experience of working with the national and international stakeholders in short-term response measures brought to the fore the urgent need for inclusive development across the country for resilient and sustainable communities. It also emerged that this can be achieved through strong strategic collaboration and partnership between national and international stakeholders. But it requires intensive research for a deep understanding of the existing policy and environmental frameworks for targeted interventions. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, arid and semi-arid land covers 29 out of the 47 counties, which are home to about 38% of our population. And because of climate change, pockets of aridity are emerging in other counties, further threatening our food security. Our people are in or exposed to poverty, hunger, thirst, and related challenges. There is no dignity in one's inability to meet the basic needs of the family. This is why the 6th KIPPRA Annual Regional Conference under the theme, Accelerating Economic Growth and Development for Arid and Semi-Arid Lands of Kenya, is very important. This theme speaks to the bottom-up economic transformation agenda of inclusive development and restoring the dignity of the Kenyan people. Currently, the contribution of ASAL counties to our GDP is varied. Whereas Nakuru County's contribution was ranked second in 2022, the bottom 10 counties are mostly from northeastern Kenya, the lower eastern and coast regions. This is in spite of the great potential of these areas. For instance, the ASAL counties of Kwale, Kilifi, Tana River, and Lamu have a combined coastline of over 500 kilometers from Vanga to Kiunga along the Indian Ocean. Up to 80% of the livelihoods of families in the region is derived from the ocean. In collaboration with partners, we have launched a number of equipment to enhance deep-sea fishing in the coastal counties. More can be done. Distinguished guests, on the other hand, several trials on farming in northern counties have shown that with the right infrastructure, crops are a viable option of increasing food security alongside pastoralism. In our plan of building dams across the country, we have factored in ASALs as areas of increasing our food productivity. Drilling and maintaining of boreholes is another long-term strategic intervention of building resilience of the communities. This will gradually engage them for more settled lifestyle besides livestock insurance. We are also expanding exploitation of the existing natural resources like geothermal, wind, solar, fuel, and other minerals in the ASALs. In the long run, this will help us mitigate the impact of climate change. Currently, our national energy consumption is about 90% renewable. We are on course towards 100% transition to green energy. Green energy is highly reliable and predictable, hence the potential to support the digital economy in ourselves. As we exploit the resources of these areas, the Ministry of Mining is working on remittances of royalties to communities in resource-rich areas. We are aligning our frameworks with the pillars of the United Nations guiding principles on business and human rights, which are based on protect, respect, and remedy. Further, we are instituting various measures to eliminate the use of firewood and charcoal. In this regard, we have zero-rated taxation on cooking gas for households. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I have highlighted these key issues because you are essential partners in sound impact research and policy analysis. To reap the benefit of ourselves, we seek to strengthen our partnership with KIPPRA for research on emerging issues like climate change. This will not only assist us in aligning development frameworks, but also plan better for posterity. Additionally, a detailed analysis of the existing legal and development frameworks will allow us to gain new insights into people-centered and inclusive implementation of the Kenya Kwanza plan. In conclusion, I thank KIPPRA, the Ministry of East African Community Affairs and Regional Development, the State Department of National Development, the County Government of Kilifi, and other partners for organizing this very successful conference. We look forward to deliberations in shaping our policy interventions to spur growth and development in the Asals. Asanteni sana. Thank you very much. I just want to add very briefly that KIPPRA is renowned and respected in this country for very sound formulation of policy. And I want to say that this conference could not have come at a better time. In fact, in my reasoning, it is late. The future of our food security and the existence of our very country is domiciled in the Asals areas. And therefore, this partnership with KIPPRA to develop policy on the possible interventions to turn the Asals from a food deficit area to a surplus one is the panacea for sorting out not only our food security, but our economy as a country. The Asal areas have great potential in terms of food production. What is required is infrastructural development, peace and security, and most important, water. So this conference, I'm sure, at the end of this conference, you'll come up with a policy framework of the interventions that are required to put resources, to put interventions in the Asals area to support the rest of the country. When we came into office, President William Ruto assigned me the very difficult role of coordinating interventions and efforts to harness food, drugs, water, animal feeds to mitigate the effects of the longest drought in Kenya in 40 years. And I want to say that it was a very humiliating experience. I became the chief beggar on behalf of the country. And in the community where I come from, begging is very demeaning. But I had a job and a boss who said, no, you must do it. So I kept on knocking every door to our development partners, to our international friends, and very sadly, even begging from those who colonized us and whom we chased away from this country. I didn't have a choice. Had we put our mind the way you have done these 3 days to coming up with the policy formulation on possible interventions on how to tap the great potential in ourselves, you would have dignified me. Please, I beg you, don't let me beg again next year. Munitafutie heshima hata kama ni kidogo. Hata kama wengine wananidharau, nipate ka heshima tu kidogo. Hii kuombaomba chakula hapana mzuri. Because we have the potential. The lands are vast. The climate is right. The soils are good. All we need is water, roads, security, and the right interventions. And then we don't have to beg again. If you go to Israel, if you go to United Arab Emirates, the climate is the same as in Garissa, as in Mandera, as in Wajir. But go to Dubai and see the transformation. Go to Israel and see the transformation. They are food secure. They produce everything they want. And I think that is doable. So this conference is very, very, very important. And I really want to thank KIPPRA. I want to thank ASALS. I want to thank the State Department of Planning for putting these great minds here today. I'm sure at the end of the conference, you'll come up with clear and concrete proposals to engage us in government to see what we can do together to tap that great potential in ASALS areas. I want to take this opportunity to really thank our Cabinet Secretary for ASALS, Rebecca Meano, and the PS, Dakota. I think you guys taught him the right things in this campus. And the governors in the ASALS counties. Because working together with me, we made sure that despite the intensity of the drought that was the most harsh in 40 years, after 5 failed seasons, through prudent planning and hard work and commitment of our CS, the PS, and the governors, and our office, not a single Kenyan died from the drought. That should never be an achievement, that we are celebrating that nobody died from drought. No. We shouldn't be there. We should be saying that drought should never be part of our life, because we have invested heavily in ASAL areas, sunk boreholes, constructed water ponds, small dams, and mega dams, and move away from rain-fed agriculture to irrigation so that we get enough food supply. And I'm sure that with this kind of engagement that has happened today, that is doable. So finally, I want to say thank you, the Honorable Owen Baya, our Deputy Leader of Majority. You guys in Parliament has done us proud last night, and the other night you stayed up to late at night. Mukanyorosha hii watu ya Azimio, mukapitisha finance bill. Na tulikuwa tumewaambia hawa. We had told them. So nimeona hii watu wetu ya for the state wanasema at the root of voting machine. There is nothing like a root of voting machine. Nobody votes as a machine in Parliament. All the members of the National Assembly who voted for the finance bill are part and parcel of the Kenya Kwanza plan. They were not voting for what William Ruto wants. They were voting for what they believe in, because they are part and parcel of our manifesto. When we were campaigning with these members of Parliament, we promised to do certain things. So nyinyi watu ya media, para sema hao ni voting machine. Those are voting for their own agenda, and they have a responsibility. And we are told this as your characters. You cannot beat us. How? Sisi tulishida nyinyi mkiwa na serikali na system na nini. Sasa tukiwa kwa serikali mtatushida hapa bunge. How? We have the numbers, you don't have the numbers. We have the ideas, you have no ideas. We have a plan, you had no plan. Sasa watu iko na plan na watu ya kuweka sufuria kwa kichwa, is there any comparison? There isn't. So I really want to salute our members of the National Assembly. The President and I are very proud of you. And we want to assure you that those funds that you have recommended we collect from the people of Kenya, they will be used prudently for the benefit of the people of this great country. And I want to thank our governors here in the Coast region. Despite the fact that this region voted overwhelmingly for Azimio, they have dignified the people of the Coast region. I have never seen a single governor from this region going to maandamano and wearing a sufuria on his head. Sasa wewe ndugu yangu Mungaro, vile tumependana siku mingi, ningekuona na sufuria kwa kichwa si nitasirai. The people of Kilifi will be embarrassed because these governors know, they know that they need money to develop their counties. This money will come from revenue collected from the people of Kenya. And these governors are realistic. They are real. They know they have a government to run. And that is why they have refused to listen to Mzee Azimio. You see, Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, Martha Karua have no government of their own. They don't need any money from anybody to run anything. So, wewe ukiwafuata blindly utazimika peke yako. Because them, they have no obligation to anybody in this country. They are not accountable to anybody in this country. Nobody is asking them for salaries. Nobody is asking them to build roads. Nobody is asking them to build water plants. Then they tell you, tuende maandamano tusimamishe pesa kukuja. Wewe ni governor. You have a budget. You need to pay people. You need to build roads. So utakuwa mjinga kufuata hiyo watu. You know, there was a story in my community. I don't know whether it is here among the Griamas and the other people from here. The hare is a very cunning small animal. Very cunning. Mjanja sana. Akadanganya fisi. Amwambia fisi, sasa wewe, hii mabibi zetu wameleta kichwa. Na sasa ndio tuwalainishe leo. Tuende tuwanyoroshe kabisa ndio waingie laini waache ujeuri. Sasa fisi unajua ni mjinga, akaifikiria ile maneno ni ya ukweli. Yeye akaenda akatafuta kiboko ile kali. Sasa yule sungura akiwa pande ile akatafuta drum, ile drama. Yeye anapiga papu. Alafu mwenyewe analia ngwe, na ni yeye. Sasa fisi akiwa pande ile anafikiria sungura anapiga nani? Bibi. Na yeye akaanza kupiga bibi yake akamuua. Sasa nyinyi magavana mkiambiwa mpinge finance bill na ile mtu na hana kazi ya kufanya, kazi yake ni kupiga kelele, na wewe uko na wafanyikazi wanakungojea, uko na barabara zinataka zijengwe, mahospitali inataka dawa, wewe utakuwa ni mjinga kufuata mtu ambaye he has no responsibility? Utakuwa wewe ni kama ile fisi umendanganywa na sungura. Kwa hivyo I really want to, in a very special way, appreciate our governors, our 6 governors in this region, for their leadership and for being realistic and knowing that elections are over. They have county governments to run. They work with the national government because we serve the same people for the benefit of the people, not just of this region, but the people of Kenya. So sisi tumeshukuru watu ya Pwani. I was here earlier this week. Tarudi tena na tena na tena. Pia tukifanya kazi tunaendelea kutafuta urafiki. So hii maneno ya urafiki ni mambo ya maana. Tunakaa na nyinyi tu namna hii. Sababu hapo mbeleni mlikuwa saa nyingine mnapotea mnafuata ile mzee, lakini amekwama. Amejaribu mara 5. Miaka ndio hiyo imesonga. Sasa nyinyi pia muangalie vile Kenya naenda, muone vile mtajipanga. Sisi tuko tayari kujipanga na nyinyi mkitukubali. Hata msitokubali hakuna shida, tutajipanga na wengine na tutafaulu. There's no problem. So, but it is our wish that we work together because it's the right thing to do and you are good people. So, and by we'll be here again and again, tukitafuta urafiki wa watu ya Kilifi, tukitafuta urafiki wa watu ya Pwani. Mimi na rais tunawapenda na tunataka tufanye kazi na nyinyi na tutaendelea kuja hapa. Mambo ya bandari tumesuluhisha, inaendelea mzuri. Mambo ya bahari tumepanga mzuri. Waziri Mvuri anafanya kazi. There is a lot of interventions in the blue economy. And the economy of this region is moving well under President William Ruto and our government. We want nyinyi pia mrudishe mkono hapo mbeleni, tutembee pamoja so that we can develop this area, we can develop this region as we develop the whole country. So mimi nimeshukuru sana, sitaki kusidisha kupita hapo. Natakia nyinyi mema, and may this conference be the start of the real transformation of the ASAL areas and the transformation of the Republic of Kenya. May God bless you and bless you abundantly. Asanteni sana.
Mheshimiwa Naibu wa Rais, ningependa kwa ruhusa yako kukusihi kubakia hapo.